So, one of the first things we need to do when we're getting ready to 3D print on the Up Mini is we need to prepare a build plate. And grab an extra build plate from the table and a putty knife. We're going to be cleaning off this surface so that we have a fresh start for our new print. This is one of the most dangerous parts of 3D printing, so I'm going to wear some safety glasses to ensure that I don't get plastic flying up and getting in my eyes. I like to use our metal bench as a backdrop so that I can apply force to my plate that is not going into my hand, shown here. Once I've cleaned off any material from this plate, I'm going to make sure that it gets in the trash. If there is small debris, I can clean this off right above the trash can. And now we have our clean surface and we're ready to put this into our Up Mini. We need to install this perforated build plate onto this surface. I'm going to support the bottom of the plate with my pointer fingers, use my thumbs to push down and slide the board gently onto the 3D printer. So when your print is finished, if it's very recently finished, it will still be a hot plate, so you need to be careful when taking out that plate. If it's had a little time to cool, you're going to support the metal clips underneath the table, apply a little bit of pressure with your thumbs, and slide that build plate out. So with our print just out, we're going to flex the corners just a bit, and you'll hear a little cracking when we do this. And that's helping us release that plastic from the perforated board. At this point, I want to make sure I have my safety glasses on, and I'm going to use our putty knife and try to get underneath these parts. Takes a little bit of muscle, but you're able to pop your part off. So there's two ways to power on the UP's 3D printers. One is by going through the 3D printing software. Go to 3D print, go down to initialize, and that will turn on the 3D printer. The other way to do it is by clicking the button on the face of the printer, and you will notice that after the printer initializes, the button will turn blue. This will also confirm that your computer is communicating with the printer, and that connection is a good one. When you're finished printing, it's important that we power these down. We don't want the fans running all night. So when you're done with your print, you're going to hold down the blue button until it turns red. And you're good to go. There's a way to turn on a small LED inside the printer. It's a bit tricky because it uses the same switch as the power on button. What we're going to do is we're going to click this button twice fairly quickly, and that should power on the LED inside of our printer. Didn't work. But I'm going to try it again. There we go. So we'll get a close-up. And to turn off, and to turn off, and to turn off. If you're trying to turn the light on in the middle of a print and you're having trouble, it's probably best just to leave it off, because there is a chance that if you hold down that switch too long while you're trying to get the light on, it will shut down the machine and that will cancel your print. Alright, so to withdraw our filament, we're going to go into our Up software in our computer. I'm going to go under the 3D print option and click maintenance. Under maintenance, I'm going to hit withdrawal. Okay, this will not withdraw right away. Alright, our filament is stuck in the extruder right now, and so we need that head to heat up so that it can then withdraw and we can pull out that filament. You will notice that there's a status bar on our UP software, and it indicates that the nozzle is heating up right now. You'll also notice that the power button is flashing blue and red. Alright, that means that there is some communication going on between your computer and the printer. Alright, and that communication right now is heating the nozzle up. Alright, once the nozzle has reached the temperature of 268 degrees, we are going to give our filament a little bit of a tug and pull it out of the extruder. Once that's done, you can hit stop all on the maintenance menu and quit. From there, you're going to want to unload your filament. We're going to pull it through the plastic tubing. Out the back side. We want to make sure that our filament doesn't unravel, because it's a pain to spool that back up. And we're going to take our spool off of the carrier. Alright, I like to put some tape around my filament so that it doesn't unravel on me. So to put a new spool onto our 3D printer, we're going to make sure that the end of our filament is nice and clean. I'm going to use some clippers to get a nice clean edge on that filament. We're then going to place our spool on the back of the UPS printer. I want to make sure that I don't let go of this end because the whole spool will unravel on me. I'm going to feed the filament through our protective plastic tubing. It's important that this tubing is going underneath the upper door. So that this door can close once it is extruding. As we come to the front side, you'll see a small hole in the top of the extruder head that our filament goes into. I'm going to go into my 3D print option, go to maintenance, and I'm going to hit extrude in the top left. My nozzle is going to heat up. Once it's reached temperature, you'll feel a small tug. You'll give a very slight push on that filament to help it get extruding. Once again, we have communication between the computer and the printer, indicated by the red and blue flashing light. The nozzle will take a few minutes to heat up, so be patient. Once the nozzle's reached that 268 degrees, it'll beep at us. We'll feel the extrusion. We'll give it a slight push and feed that into the extruder. You will then be able to see the filament actually coming out and being extruded. Once it's done extruding, it'll beep at you, and now you're ready to print. If it is a brand new spool, you need to go into the maintenance menu and click on New Spool. Alright, you need to determine the material, which is ABS, and the weight, which is 700 grams, is usually the weight of the new spools that we have. The printer does have a counter, alright, that does count how many grams have been printed out, and so that will send a message to you if you start a print and it does not think it has enough material to finish the print. It will send you a message before you print, so be aware of that.